Hi, everyone. I'm back with another amazing author. So I've been so lit up by this very inspirational impromptu author series that I've been guided to share with you all. And I'm sharing it with you because I am having conversation after conversation with these amazing authors that leave me inspired, that leave my spine tingling, and I want to share it with you. And so today Islena Faircrest and I have been talking, and she literally dropped a bomb that I thought, people need to hear about this. Her insight, her reflection was filled with wisdom, pure channel. It's like, oh, this is why I do what I do. So I'm here with Islena so that she can share with you some of what she has been experiencing and learning from the creative process. And so Islena, as an as a forthcoming author yourself, someone who's been in the creative process now for a while, I would love for you to share with our audience what has been revealed to you in this process of writing a book.
Mm. Well, thanks to your prompting, I had a revelation this morning on my creative process that we kind of uncovered through our talking together in our session. And what I discovered is that um, this past week, as I was creating some structures around work and very focused on tasks and efficiency at work, um, the normal joy and desire I have for the creative writing process got put on the back burner, and I kind of consciously and unconsciously put it on the side and on the back burner. And I felt like I had this voice telling me, well, that's a luxury to do right now. It's a leisure. You can do that later when you get the more important stuff done. And there was this like poof, oh, wait a second. I've committed to myself to write this book because it is important. So, what's happening here that I'm putting my creative process that is actually vital? I've discovered it to be vital for my soul and creative expression. What's happening here that I'm putting it um, on non priority? And I realized what happens is that when I go into efficiency mode, I'm going into a part of my psyche that is stemming from my childhood experiences as a daughter of a tiger mom, prodigy child in training. Bless my mom, I love her. She was intense as a tiger mom. So I learned to get the feeling of worthiness through my accomplishments, through how I performed, through how I um, outputted to the world. So it was my completed tasks and the quality of my performance that had me feel recognized and validated and worthy at the end of the day, and loved and appreciated and seen and heard. So I realized that created a limiting belief that I'm worthy only when there's an output there of performance or efficiency. And so my creative uh, aspect, although in my soul I'm very connected to and very, I see its value. When I'm under pressures at work and my brain kicks into survival brain, and it doesn't even have to be like a 10 out of 10 survival brain, it can be like a 4 or 5 or 6 out of 10 survival brain. Then my access to creativity in the prefrontal lobe kind of goes, and my desire and impetus and flow and energy towards the creative expression also goes it gets put on the side, put on the back. And that was a real aha moment because I see that within our community, within other creatives, within clients who coach, and it's a real block and stop to authentic expression. And whatever blocks and stops our authentic expression, we will inevitably get resentful about. And it's the resentment that eventually manifests into the physical body too, through symptomology, eventually leading, to possible autoimmune illness, which I see in a lot of clients as well too. And I'm just saying this also from a personal experience, witnessing that within my own family and my own tribe, and even myself to some level. So this was a very profound, visceral understanding of creative blocks.
Mm.
Creative blocks really, I mean, if we're we're alive in the sense that we're always connected to this sense of aliveness, whether we feel it or not. I mean, the simple fact of being alive means we're connected to it. But the feeling it is perception created. Do I feel alive? Well, that's completely perception. And accessing that sense of feeling um, is whether you have access to your creative brain or not. And if you have access to it, then ego is not there kind of saying, oh, you're in danger or there's a potential threat. Ego is kind of still there, of absolute vital necessity to keep us alive, to keep humanity alive over evolving through millennia. But it's kind of just placated, like, okay, things are, yeah, it's all right. I don't need to be on alarm.
We can be in our soul, that soul
Yes.
space.
Yeah, the soul space is a space that even if there is fear, there's a willingness to walk through it. There's like, it's like the perception of, okay, excitement and fear kind of exist in the same part of the brain. It's like, okay, I can do this. Like, soul says, okay, sure, sure, it leans in. And ego's like, threat, danger, danger, no, no.
Islena, I
Yeah.
love the your that insight of when we are in that survival brain
Hmm.
based on the limiting beliefs and the perceptions of threat, which you talked about so powerfully uh, in this and also in our previous conversation, is that it limits and it blocks that expression. Why would we want to put our soul out there when we're living in this fear and this perceived, oh no, I need to protect, and being feeling vulnerable? And when you said that, that's such a powerful remembrance of why we get blocked creatively. We might say, oh, I'm too busy, oh, I don't have the time. But what you did today, what I witnessed you do, was you really peeled back those layers. You're like, okay, what's really underneath that? That's what's really going on here. And you allowed yourself, and through your own, you know practice and brilliance, and why you are so good at what you do with your clients, and why your book is going to touch and reach so many other people because of that. You have this way of going within and looking within and going, okay, there's something deeper here, there's something more happening. There it is. And you kind of pull it out. And now those watching, you can sit there and go, wow, where do I do that? Where do I block that? Where is that creative expression being blocked? And what I'm hearing Islena reminding us all of and inviting all of us into is to take time to say, then how can I create a place that I can move out of survival brain, right? I can kind of move out of survival mode, even if it's momentarily, or how can I go through a process, maybe an inner transformation, or go through something within myself that I'm no longer leaning on those perceived threats or limiting beliefs. And those can be healed so that I can be in my fullest, most authentic expression as I create. And I think, to me, that's the work, and that's the invitation. And one more thing I wanted to add, Islena, you talk about the output. How many of us have that? Our worthiness is tied up in what am I putting into the world, or showing the world. And the creation process, specifically writing a book, I mean, it can be on many things, but that's the world I live in. It can take quite a bit of time. And so you're right
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sit and take, I don't know, hours, days, weeks, months, years to allow this thing to come through us, can often feel like, well, there's nothing, I'm not proving myself with this. And yet I appreciate the reminder and the invitation that it is essential, it is worthwhile, it is valuable, it's necessary. So is there anything more you want to speak to that in terms of that kind of the necessity of it? Because that's what drives me, is there's a reason there that people like yourself and others that I get to work with are called to write their books. So is there anything about that you want to say?
Yes, actually, something that just showed up that might help us writers when we have our blocks is that if we can see that our blocks are like kind of a dam just stopping the flow because of a perception of threat, then we can kind of talk to our ego kind of the way we might talk to our child or talk to a niece or a nephew or someone that we care about, in an empathic way of, okay, well, let's explore what this perceived threat is. Because if you can identify what the perceived threat is, like maybe I'm scared to share vulnerably because I'm going to feel rejected or misunderstood, like that's a huge one. I can't express it just quite the right way that people will understand me. Well, the truth is, half the people out there won't understand us because they're coming from another frame of reference, but likely half will, and a good number will, a good number that is enough and is important enough for you to say your piece will. And that's what matters. It's like that old story of the man walking on the beach and tossing a starfish back into the ocean, even though there's thousands on the beach. And someone says, well, you can't do all thousands. And he's like, well, it matters to that one, right? So it matters to who we come directly in contact with, and whom we don't even come directly in contact with. We have no control over that. That's the beauty of it, is that it matters. It does matter. And one point that I wanted to also share on the ego is that when our ego is activated, when we perceive a threat, in that exact moment, it is normal to feel scared to share on something that doesn't feel quite ready to share yet, because there's a threat. So it makes it like it's absolutely logical that you're not going to share vulnerably when there's a threat, when there's a perceived threat, because your perception is you could get harmed. Like that's just a basic human survival response. So in that moment, there's just the opportunity for you as a creative to connect with your limiting belief, which is based on a past event, or your perceived threat, which is based on the present moment. And when you connect with that, you'll actually be connecting with thousands and tens and thousands and hundreds and thousands of millions of people across the world, because they've had that exact same experience as well. So that's why it matters, because other people are not navigating that perceived threat and limiting belief as well.
Mm.
And so really we're all just little lights for each other, just showing the way along the journey.
Yes. And what
Yeah.
I love everything you said, and specifically the blocks, they're okay too. Like there's
Yes,
nothing
there.
wrong with the block. There's nothing wrong with you if you're having a block. That's natural. It is absolutely 1,000% part of the process. It's part of the journey. And as you said, Eileen, it's the opportunity. It's an opportunity to go, oh, well, what is that perceived threat I'm having right now? What is that limiting belief? Oh, can I tend to that? Can I be compassionate with that? Can I
Yeah.
speak to that? And then can I continue to move forward despite that? So or with
And
that.
the,
So,
and also the benefit of a dam, of a blocking of energy too, is that there's a massive release after. So there's in the quantum world, there's no loss of energy. So you'll just get a rush afterwards, and you'll have a rush of wisdom afterwards, or connection to to more messages, or more depth that connects you with others, and has you feel seen and understood with
mm,
with that percentage that is aligned with what you want to share.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, we will make sure for those watching that you know how to find Islena on boardyoga.com. And we'll put the link down so that as she completes her creative process and brings her book into the world, you can learn more. And she does so many other wonderful things as well. And then, yes, if you are feeling called to, for yourself, release some of these blocks and allow that dam to be, kind of put aside for a moment, right, of just pure creative expression, we have the place for you to do that. I'll be hosting a writer's retreat in Costa Rica in March. And I got to tell you, if there's any place you want a dam to burst, it will be in Costa Rica. Because in that space, the ego can relax. It can be set to the side and said, you're safe. This is okay. We've got you. And it gives that creative soul essence to say, okay, I can come forth. I can come forward with what I have to say and share and be in the world and know that it's okay in that moment. So I will also put information for that below as well. And I invite you to join us. Islena, any closing thoughts? I so appreciate you for doing this on the fly with me. Anything else you'd like to share with those listening?
Oh, the flow has a genius of its own, whether it's a dam temporarily stopped or it's moving.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes to that. So, to the divine flow of all things, I wish you all so much love, light, and blessings. And thanks for watching.